Hello and welcome, and today we're making hot cross buns. They're extremely popular here in England all through the year, especially around Easter time. So I've got all my ingredients ready, so let's start. To make the dough, we'll need 1 teaspoon of mixed spice, 1 teaspoon of ground ginger, a zest of 1 orange, 15 grams of powdered milk, 1 egg. I'm using fresh yeast today. This pack is 42 grams. If you're using dry yeast, just do the conversion, but it should be around 10 grams. I've got 200 milliliters of warm water, 100 grams of raisins, you can use sultanas, 75 grams of caster sugar, 75 grams of cold butter, 500 grams of sifted plain flour, and a pinch of salt. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to combine raisins with all the spices and the orange zest. In a separate bowl, we're going to add warm water and the powdered milk, and we're going to mix it all together. Then we're going to crumble our fresh yeast. If you're using dry instant yeast, just add it at this stage and mix again. And then we're adding egg and mixing. Next, we're going to rub flour, butter, pinch of salt and sugar. So we're going to rub it with our fingers until it resembles breadcrumbs. This is a consistency that we need. And now we're going to add our yeast mixture and start mixing. We're going to mix until it forms into the ball and continue mixing for another maybe 5 minutes. When all the flour have incorporated, I'm going to take it out and I'm going to continue knead on my kitchen surface. We're going to knead for another maybe 5 minutes until dough becomes silky and it doesn't stick to your hands anymore. So our dough is really smooth now, so we're going to put it in a bowl, cover and leave for about 40 minutes. Depending on the temperature of your room, it could be an hour, but we're going to check in 40 minutes. An hour have passed and now I'm going to add all our spices and raisins to the dough and mix it in. Okay, everything mixed in, and now we're going to leave our dough to rise for another half an hour. And put it in a bowl and cover it up. Okay, it's half an hour later and I already turned the oven on to 180 degrees Celsius, and now I already measured the weight of my dough and I need to divide it to 12 pieces, about 86 grams each. So I'm going to use the scales, so they're roughly same size. Put some flour on your kitchen top, and we're going to start measuring. After you divided all the dough, make sure you bring each piece of dough into the bowl, just like this, and line on the baking tray, on the baking paper, in a nice straight line, because we're going to make crosses later, so it's important they're straight. Nice straight lines. So now we're going to cover them and going to let them proof for another hour, so they double in size, and meanwhile we're going to make paste to make crosses. To make the paste for the crosses, we will need 120 grams of flour, plain flour, 100 grams of water, 40 grams of butter, and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. First, we're going to mix flour and butter. Mix with your fingers until it resembles breadcrumbs. And now we're going to add baking powder and water and mix. Sometimes you'll find you need to add a little bit more water, but we will see. It has to be yes, I think I'll need to add a little bit more water because it's quite thick at the moment. So I'm going to add little by little water, so the paste shouldn't be too runny, but it should come out of the nozzle easily. And this is roughly the consistency that you need. I'm going to leave this for now. Later we're going to put it in a piping bag with a small nozzle, number 4. I only have a little one with a star shape, so I hope it's going to work. But we're going to do that later. And now we're going to make a stock syrup for the glazing. Okay, for the stock syrup, we need equal amount of water and sugar. I've got 65 milliliters of water and 65 grams of sugar, and we're going to cook it until it becomes slightly thicker and syrupy. So I cooked it for about 5-7 minutes. It's a little thicker now, so it looks a little syrupy now, so it's done. Okay, now we're going to put our paste into the piping bag, and we're going to pipe crosses on our buns. So in a straight line. Without stopping. And now we're going to put it in the oven for 8 to 10 minutes. When the buns are done, immediately brush it with a stock syrup to make a glaze. I really had fun making these hot cross buns, and if you're going to try this recipe, enjoy making them. I really like the look of them. I haven't tried them yet. I'm going to try them when they cool down. And have happy Easter, everyone.